Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this, the third video in my series on remote and freelance work, we are going to be looking at sites that can provide work for designers and creatives. And we're also going to be looking at how you can do online surveys for money as well. So 99 Designs is probably one of the more well-known sites for freelance design work. So 99 Designs is a site where people will come, they will put up a design job, you can bid on it, show them your portfolio, and they will choose who they want to hire. So it's pretty well known. I would imagine that most people, if they are in the design area, they will be well aware of 99 Designs. Given that it's not my area, I can't really tell you for sure how good or bad it is as a freelancer, but it certainly has stood the test of time. It was one of the earlier sites. It seems to still be going strong, which would certainly suggest that there is enough of supply of freelancers there to do design work. A similar site, Design Hill. So Design Hill does both linking of designers with clients and also that design contest kind of here is a job and you pitch me your idea type of model as well. So various different types of design services. They seem maybe a little bit more oriented to things like logos, designs for clothing and marketing and things like that. They have this other site, Print Shop, which specializes in that kind of thing. So different one if you are doing design that's maybe more oriented to those kind of projects. The third one is Dribble, and again, similar kind of thing. So freelance graphic design jobs. It seems probably a little bit more web oriented, and so there is also full-time job board and designer search. We're on the freelance jobs tab here, and we can see kind of animations, graphics, web design. So I would say this one's maybe a little bit more oriented to kind of startups looking for marketing type stuff. But you never know what you'll find. Certainly worth having a look. And seems maybe a little bit newer and more dynamic than 99 Designs. If you are a designer and you have tried some of these sites, definitely comment below. Let us know what you think of them. The final creative one is quite interesting. So Behance has jobs. We're currently filtered for Australia. It detected where I was and has filtered. So this has graphic design, digital design, WordPress. So certainly web development, but there's also motion graphics, copywriter, actually quite a mix of different things. When I was on here the other day, I mean, here's some C++ gameplay. The other day when I was on here, there was more kind of video and social media positions. So quite an interesting mix, actually. What's the cyberpunk sci-fi artists? We're looking at help designing our tradable card game. So I have played a few tradable card games in my time, even played on the Pro Tour in one of them. So that's pretty cool. I certainly have no art skills, so it's not a job for me, but that is pretty funky, pretty interesting. These are different from when I looked through the other day, but similarly, some pretty interesting stuff. Character animators. So I would definitely, if I had design skills and wanted to look for jobs that are maybe a little bit different, and some of them are actual jobs, they're not just little freelance projects. I would definitely check out Behance.net. I had not heard of it before doing the search, but I've seen some pretty funky looking jobs on it. So those are the main design ones that I came across. As I said earlier, not really my area. So there are probably other sites that I've missed, but those are certainly a few to start with. We're going to look now at a few different sites where there's other kinds of things we could be doing to make money. The first one is user testing. So user testing is quite interesting because it's not just market research in the traditional answering surveys sense. It is a company that offers research, but very much around website and app design. And so they pay quite well for what you're doing. We can see here actually all the ones I got at the moment, a whole chunk of them seem to be $10. So $10 one would normally be something like navigating through a website or trying a demo version of an app. And it makes it quite interesting because you're testing a future design of a website or an app. They will normally ask you to do particular functions. And as we scroll down, we can see I've got quite a few here. These little surveys that we see at the front here, they are filters to determine whether you're suitable. So do I have an air care device in my home? And probably if I don't say daily or a couple of times a week, then I won't qualify. If I don't have a coffee maker and drink coffee, probably not going to be suitable for this one. But I've done testing on all sorts of different things. Sometimes you have to sign a non-disclosure. And unfortunately, some of the most interesting ones I've done, I've had to sign the non-disclosure. So I can't really tell you what they are. But there was one that was augmented reality. So looking through your phone, the camera on your phone was taking photos of things. It was a game where it was then adding stuff that you could see beyond what was actually in front of you, and it was pretty cool. It was a prototype. It had some bugs, and I found some bugs. Hopefully they appreciated me finding those bugs, but some pretty interesting stuff. So a little bit different, and this is one of the few that I would recommend. So I've got two that I maybe don't recommend, but I'm going to tell you about. And beyond this, there's lots of others. So generally, the online surveys for money, it varies country to country, and it varies company to company, but a lot of them pay very, very poorly. They may pay you a couple of dollars for a survey that might be really long and might take you maybe half an hour or more. So you can imagine getting paid $1 to do a half-hour survey. Even if you're sitting on the toilet, and I mean, hopefully you're not sitting on the toilet for half an hour, but it's not good value for money for you. The one exception to this, I would say, is that the research companies where you actually are doing interviews or focus groups, and these days they do a lot of them via Zoom, but sometimes they still do them face to face. Those can pay pretty well. I've had some paying 100. In fact, one case, because they wanted very specific professionals, $200 for kind of a 60 or 90-minute session, and doing some quite interesting things as well. Some of the in-person ones have been everything from trialing software to taste testing bourbon, which being paid to taste test bourbon is pretty cool. So those are the ones that you really want to look out for. And sometimes you do come across those by doing the online surveys first. So those will vary country to country. And so I haven't actually included specific ones in here, but I would encourage you to look for those. On the other end of the scale, there is things like Amazon Mechanical Turk. I have included this really just as a reminder to talk about it. So they do a mix of things. It is quite often surveys. Sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes the pay is okay. Often it's not, though. So as something to explore, you might choose to sign up. But it's something that I've more often than not been disappointed with, because it's either been kind of repetitive, boring surveys or repetitive, boring tasks that they want you to do. And it just, I think there's better ways that you can make money online out there. The other one, which is I haven't tried, but looks similar is ClickWorker. So ClickWorker has surveys, has a little bit more of things where you maybe need a little bit more language skills, things like that for say proofreading, for doing research. And I mean, research though is kind of pretty simplistic kind of stuff. But for someone who's detail oriented, this could be of interest to you. Um, so looking at websites, filling in information, finding information for them, um, app testing, mystery visits are kind of cool if you can get on that. It can be quite competitive. Photo capturing. So this is a bit more to this one. Um, you may like to have a look, but it's one of those ones where you can sign up and you may get a couple of jobs, you may not. I wouldn't do it with the expectation of making tons of money or being able to get consistent kind of jobs and money out of it. But just for something that's maybe a bit fun but different, have a look at that one. The last two are more hands-on jobs. So TaskRabbit, which is quite American-centric, and Airtasker, which is more Australian-centered, although I noticed they've now changed to a .com and then a slash with the country, so I think they might be expanding into other countries. Both of these are kind of hands-on doing stuff for people. So it could be doing moving. If you have a truck or a ute, you might be able to make some money doing moving for people. IKEA furniture assembly is a pretty fun one. If you're good at that stuff and you like it, there's people that hate it, and they will pay you potentially quite good money just to put their furniture together. Sometimes it's cleaning, odd jobs, things like that. Need to be a little bit careful. Some of these sites can take a fairly high commission, and so it may work out that you don't actually earn a ton of money, but it can be something a bit different, and particularly if you're just trying to find little odd jobs to work around other things that you do, it can be quite a nice one. So that's TaskRabbit. Airtasker, exactly the same kind of thing. We can see sofa delivery and mattress pickup and cleaning a flat at the end of the lease. So lots of that manual type stuff, in-person stuff. You need to check what rules there are around things like insurance, what vehicle you need, vaccines, things like that as well. But just I thought I would end the video with something that's a little bit different, since we're looking at so many that are just purely on the computer. And you may have some skills and also interest in getting out there doing things with your hands as well.